Welcome to Kidmissing TV. As I mentioned yesterday in my community tab, I'll get it right, I had a problem yesterday, and that was my own clumsiness. I knocked over this much cranberry juice and ruined my data card and my reader. So, new reader is coming today, and I have to redo the video. So, but before I get into the case, I want to address a comment. Nothing bad. Over on my community tab, someone had a question, and I did answer it, but I'm going to answer it here as well. They asked if I ever did a case close to home, because they had researched one, I'm going to assume in their hometown, and they have all the information, but in their words, quote, "I gotta live here." I haven't found that to be a problem. I actually did a case where I knew the killer personally. He fought hard to get out of jail, but he died in prison. And I'm still friendly with his family. But I had no problem. I talked about it on my television show and on here as a local case. There was also a local murder that I have talked about. No problem. In fact, a lot of people don't even remember this triple murder that happened in this town. It was one of those teenager gets a gun and kills the whole family that you hear a lot about, unfortunately. But this was back in like 1985 when that just wasn't something you heard about. And had we been in what we are now, every news channel would be here. It would be, I mean, the trial would be on whatever Court TV is today, and probably on YouTube. Like I said, every news channel would have been here. It would have made one of the Discovery Channel shows, news, investigation Discovery Channels, all of that. But because of the time period, it didn't. And at the time, we only had about 4,000 people in town. So I just wanted the person to know that it's okay to do it. I also told her to look in the description for my email and send me the information. I'll do the case, and I won't mention you if you don't want me to. I'm going to assume it's a her because most of my viewers are hers, according to my statistics. Said that well, the name of the person was a whole bunch of letters and numbers, so I can't remember the name, the screen name, but I just wanted to address that on camera. Now, if you'd like to get to the video, the actual case starts at 5 minutes. Okay. June Pauline Stevens was 18 years old when she disappeared July 14, 1948, from Cadillac, Saskatchewan, Canada. She was believed to have been pregnant at the time. She was 5'4", 119 pounds, brown shoulder-length curly hair, and blue eyes. She had a birthmark on her arm. She had psoriasis all over, and she had RA, rheumatoid arthritis. Probably JRA, since she was only 18 and already had it, which is juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. They now call it juvenile idiopathic arthritis, but idiopathic means no known cause. And we know it's autoimmune, so don't understand that, but that's okay. Says her DNA is available, so they must have family's DNA. Her parents had split up. She was living with her dad in a family home, her dad and her brother. Her mother, Anna, was living in Port Alberni, British Columbia. Again, June was said to be pregnant at the time, and her mother, Anna, made the trip to Cadillac to pick her up and take her back to Port Alberni with her, probably either to have the baby, maybe adopt the baby, or maybe illegally end the pregnancy, something like that. Those are my guesses. On October 29, 1948, a letter that her father wrote to Anna says that June went east. And I don't understand that, because if Anna picked her up, Anna already knew that. Unless Anna picked her up and brought her back. I didn't understand that. So, and her family was French, because her father's name was Leonard Etienne Stevens. Etienne is French for Stephen. And her mother was Anna Oleksuk. 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 She played baseball and worked as a babysitter. Now, she either went to Port Alberni or she went to Winnipeg, the capital city of Manitoba, where she had relatives. Another old letter that was found by a family member who found the old letters said she was at the Salvation Army Hospital in Winnipeg. Other letters claimed that June might have possibly gone to Toronto. Your CMP also thinks she might have gone to the United States. There is a chance she's still alive. It's kind of, well, she was 18 in 1948. So 28 and 58, 38 and 68, 48 and 78, 58 and 88, 68 and 98, 78 in 2008, 88 in 2018, 19, 20, 22, 23, 25. So 95 years old this year. She might be alive, but unlikely. They're even using ground penetrating radar because the family thinks something sinister happened to her. Does the family think that maybe the father killed her because she was pregnant? I don't know. Oh, no. The suspect was a man that was brought to the attention in 2023 of Please Bring Me Home, which is a Canadian nonprofit for the missing. And that's when they conducted the GPR. This man had lived with June periodically in Cadillac, Saskatchewan before her disappearance. In the early 1960s, the man became the primary suspect in the violent first-degree murder of a female co-worker in Saskatchewan. The victim went missing from the school where they both worked. 10 years later, she was discovered buried in a 2-foot-deep shallow grave at the school. He admitted to seeing her on the day she disappeared, but vehemently denied murdering her. Police did an illegal search on his home and found items belonging to said woman, but the search was no good, and therefore the items were the fruit of the poisonous tree, so were not admissible. So he was never charged. And the evidence was destroyed in 2012. Please Bring Me Home has consulted with experts in various fields, including criminal psychology, archaeology, historical research, because they want to see if they can figure out the man's connection, if any, to June's disappearance. And it was decided to search the man's former property in Cadillac, once it was good weather, obviously. They teamed up with Atla Heritage Services, a renowned heritage consulting and cemetery management. They're based in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, to conduct the GPR searches. And they did the search on the morning of June 9th, 2024. And a small group of June's relatives and their loved ones volunteered to fund the search. There is no record that June completed the 12th grade. Extensive records from her mother's employment showed no mention of June. And there are no vital records for June except her birth record and a presumption of death certificate. There is a Facebook page devoted to June. I didn't see the age progression, so you won't see it on the poster. But they have done DNA with negative results. No one's come back. So they're saying summer of 1948, and she was either 17 or 18. She suffered from rheumatoid arthritis and psoriasis. In letters to her mother, she never mentioned taking daily medication. Well, what medication was she taking in 1948 for rheumatoid arthritis? Pain medicine? They didn't have immune modifiers back then, which is what you would need because it's an autoimmune disease. So is psoriasis. And they didn't have the shots like I take every 12 weeks. You basically slathered yourself in hydrocortisone. Stop the itch. And if you had an infection from scratching said itch, you would put bacitracin or something on it, depending on what they had then. And they only had penicillin. They hadn't come out with any other antibiotics at that point. So if you were allergic to penicillin, you were screwed. So if she needed an oral antibiotic for an infection that got worse from the psoriasis, if the antibiotics didn't work, she was going to lose life or limb. So, now, why her mother's employment would show any mention of her, I don't know. Unless they mean in the records of her insurance, there was no indication of a dependent. Her family home in Cadillac, Saskatchewan, burnt down on New Year's Eve, 1948, just a few months after she vanished. Again, there was a letter from 1948 that states that June went east. Again, I thought Mom picked her up. And British Columbia is west, isn't it? Anyway. So, if you have any information in this befuddling case, before I get there, I just want to explain that rheumatoid arthritis, or juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, or juvenile idiopathic arthritis, which they call it today, which I don't understand. But, because as I've said, idiopathic means unknown cause, that there's no cause for it. It's autoimmune. There is a cause, therefore it's not idiopathic. So I don't know why they changed the name, but here we'll just call it juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, which is what she had. She was a teenager. And she had psoriasis. And as I've already mentioned, the risk of infection and all of that with the psoriasis, which I know all too well because I have a prescription for skin infection when it gets bad and I scratch. I had skin infections in my knees, which they gave me something called mupirocin for. And you use it for a few days, it gets better, and you keep it. It's not like an antibiotic pill where you take the whole bottle. It's a cream, and they expect you to keep it. So if it happens again, you still have it. It's a more powerful version of something like a bacitracin, only it's a prescription. And rheumatoid arthritis is severe. It is stated that she was in bed a lot. Well, that's because it causes extreme fatigue. It also causes very severe pain, depending upon what joints she had it in. And they weren't specific about that. It can also excuse me, that's spam, cause problems with other areas of the body, organs, especially back during a time when they didn't have medication to modify your immune system. To calm your immune system down. They just didn't have those drugs. So for them to say there's no mention of medicine in her letters to her mother, Why would there be? I took my pain medicine today. I mean, I slathered myself in hydrocortisone today. Like I said, there is nothing, but also, um, as I started to mention before the spam interrupted us, rheumatoid arthritis does not just affect joints, it affects organs as well. It's a cousin disease to lupus. They're both very similar autoimmune diseases, and they're kind of cousin diseases. I have a friend who unfortunately died due to juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. She died as an adult in her early 50s, but she'd had it since she was a little kid. And unfortunately, it attacked her lungs. Her sister also has it. It's has rheumatoid arthritis. It runs in families. She was told, they weren't surprised. I also have a friend that's battling. It took years and years for her to get diagnosed, and they're still trying to figure out the right meds, which can be a challenge with any autoimmune disease, getting the amount of meds correct and which immune modifying med will work best for you. And unfortunately, my friend whose sister died of it also has organ involvement. In her case, it's her bladder. Like I said, it's kind of a cousin disease to lupus. So, it's very serious and it should be taken seriously, and it is mentioned on our poster along with the psoriasis, which I think should be taken seriously as well. I remember sitting, I don't have it anymore, but sitting at my black desk before my treatment had taken hold, and literally just having white all over my desk, and someone said, put a plastic bubble around you and you're an instant snow globe. I need to give you the phone numbers because my battery is dying. You can call Please Bring Me Home or go to pleasebringmehome.com. Their anonymous tip line is 1-226-702-2728. That's 1-226-702-2728. Or Constable Brendan Sanford at the F Division, F Troop, RCMP Historical Missing Persons Unit in Regina, not Regina, Regina, Saskatchewan, which is the capital. Again, it's Constable Brendan Sanford, 639-625-3167. That's 639-625-3167. Please subscribe. We're trying to get to 500 by the 4th of July and 300 over in Punky's World. God bless you and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, guys.